Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 2022 Maserati Quattroporte GranLusso, which is finished in Rosso Folgore color, which is nothing but Italian for this wine reddish color, which is sort of maroonish. Anyway, straight away we're going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle, which is not powered by what I thought it would be, because this is a V6 unit. Maserati logo right there. There's insulation here, of course, and the engine bay definitely has to look like a work of art. It looks so freaking beautiful. Just look at it. But unlike just banging this down, I'm going to be very sweet and nice today. So I'm just going to take it down like this. And yeah, that's how I shut it. Okay, now you can see the Maserati Trident logo here. The oval one right there. And this one does not have 360-degree parking cameras. That's the reason it doesn't get a front camera. Maybe this is the position for the same, or maybe this is for the ADAS functions, because I mean, a lot of ADAS functions are available with this car, but not available in India, I guess. It has got 6 parking sensors at the front, 1, 2, 3, and 3 on the other side as well. There are 10 bars here for the chrome grille, and this is the 11th one where the Maserati logo actually sits. Car looks absolutely beautiful. This is actually the 6th generation model. The variant name is GranLusso. They have the Grand Sport, which is the sportier one. This is the luxury one, of course. And this car competes with the Mercedes S-Class, the Audi A8L, the Jaguar XJ, as well as the BMW 7 Series. Meanwhile, the lights look really very nice. Now, these are matrix lights. These are all LED units. You can see a projector setup. You can see a lot of compartments on the inside. It says Maserati right there as well, and because these are matrix lights, they get the adaptive function, wherein there's a camera here on the windshield which is able to read ahead if there is oncoming traffic and accordingly dim the light even on high beam. And these lights actually move depending on the steering angle and the style of driving and stuff like that, so that's also kind of cool. Now this is the DRL, of course, and the indicator, you can see, beautiful. I mean these 3 units are so well done. The car looks absolutely stunning. Everyone comes and looks at it. In fact, they've given chrome here, which is very tastefully done. Meanwhile, when I come to the side, I realize this is a humongous car. It's so huge. It's so huge. It's in fact almost 5.3 meters in length. Okay, you can see the wheelbase is almost, I think, 3.2 meters in length. And the width is 2.1 meters. So it's a huge car. The size is massive. In fact, it attracts so much attention that people are standing here just to look at the car, even though they know I'm shooting, but they will still intervene and kind of photobomb. But that's okay. That's fine. I see that this car is not really seen so much, so that people are so excited to see it. Anyways, the size of the tire, the front ones, 245, 40, 20, well, the rear ones are obviously bigger. It says Maserati here on the brake caliper. Alloy wheel design is absolutely stunning as well, and you've got these 3 elements on the side. These are actually functional. I can see heat coming outside, or rather I can feel the heat coming outside, so it's just for better cooling. Variant name is written here, GranLusso, and there is no camera here, yeah, because this doesn't get a 360-degree camera. So you can see the length of the car is quite a bit, but unfortunately the length does not really mean that interior room is any better when you compare to the rivals. Here you get the Maserati logo and nice chrome sort of finishing around the windows. Of course, there's a request sensor on each of the chrome door handles, and the rear tire size is obviously bigger. 285, 35, 20 is the size of the rear tires, and you can see these are massive ones, like humongous. Now it has got this feature wherein if you come at the rear and just stand now, the boot will automatically open because it's got hands-free tailgate. But you know what, even with the car on, you can just press this twice and there the boot also opens. That's kind of cool. The boot is not that big, which is kind of disappointing, and obviously the rear seats don't split forward because this is not a cargo van. And here you can see there's a 12-volt charging socket. Below here there is the spare wheel, which is of course not an alloy. It's actually a smaller sized wheel as well. I can't even find the tire size. It's so small in Chintu Mintu. Yeah, where is it? No, I'm not going to be able to find it, but it's really very small. And there is the manual of the car. So they've got like multiple manuals, of course. So we're just going to try and, you know, open it and see how many pages do we have to read to understand this car. So first things first. Okay, what is this? That is the assistance stuff. Okay, I've got credit card and all. Nice. That's huge, that's big. And what have they done? They've written a full book on the car. Intelligent assistant, regulatory information, owner's manual is how many pages? 321, but it looks so fatty. Rear seat entertainment also has a lot of stuff, but you know what, the optional bits are not on this car at the moment, so that's a bit of a bummer. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's just shut this, which means I press this button and there the tailgate comes down and shuts. Okay, there are 2 lights here for the number plate which are not LEDs, and this is the reverse parking camera. Maserati logo here. The lights are beautiful. Look at the lights, it's so damn awesome. Might actually remind you of the Tesla Model S. This is the indicator, all LED units of course. Brake light, super duper well done. And it has got 4 exhausts at the rear, quad exhaust. So Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will hide somewhere because this is very dangerous. Okay, I love the car so much. I have that as the logo, as my watch face. Anyways, you know what? You can see the exhaust amazingly well done to tell you that this car means serious business. And you've got 4 parking sensors at the rear. Now, the GTS model actually gets trapezoidal exhaust tips just to tell people that, you know what, this is something which is very different and something which means serious business. And here you get a high mounted stop lamp. There's a shark fin antenna here on the top. Yeah, and let's just open this. Okay, there it opens. This is where the fuel of the vehicle goes. This one is a petrol model. It also comes with a diesel engine, of course. And the doors open decently wide, but they are frameless, which is cool. So it gets a sun blind which works electrically. And there the sun blind is down, and now I'm just going to put the window down. Let's see if it goes all the way down. No, it doesn't really go all the way down, but it's got something known as soft closed door here. I'm not going to shut it completely, and there it pulls it inside. That's kind of cool. Now the rear seat experience is not as great as you would expect it to be, considering this car rivals the crazy Mercedes S-Class. However, there are certain good bits. Firstly, it says Maserati here. Good bit is that you can move the seat ahead very easily because there are buttons here. You just press this and there the seat goes. It's very easy. This car is super duper simple. There's no complexity in this vehicle. That's the best thing about it. And then if you want to move this particular seat, you press this button and then you can move this seat also ahead or behind. Okay, and as you move the seat ahead or behind, the recline angle also keeps changing. When you take it behind, it becomes more upright, and then you can see decent amount of space. So I'm just going to move it all the way ahead. Now it's my lucky day today. That's why I'm able to find a coin. Okay, we're going to do a toss. Heads I win, tails you lose. It's in between. Anyways, just going to keep this coin. I don't know who it belongs to. So there is good amount of storage space at the rear, which is a good thing. You can see the seats are absolutely stunning in quality, and the Maserati logo is kind of camouflage. You can't really see it. Well, they could have like finished it in different color, of course. Okay, there is such good space on offer, like really good space on offer for a car which competes with the S-Class. It's still kind of lacking because even the E-Class has more space than this car, but if I see it in isolation, it has decent amount of space on offer. There is storage space here, sort of scooped out as well, and then, you know, since I can move the seat ahead, that's not an issue at all. There's some storage space here. AC vents are placed here, but you can see the nice chrome treatment, which is actually nice. AC vents are here on the side as well. Let me just shut the door before that. Let me show you. The door pockets are actually decent sized as well. And okay, everything is finished in handcrafted leather. It's absolutely stunning. The wood, the chrome, the leather, everything inside this car. Even the stitching is absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously you have got height adjustable seat belts, which take some real effort to move as well. Plenty of airbags. You can see the stitching. The car is absolutely crazy in terms of quality. There is a hook here, and then you can move the headrest easily, I believe. Yeah, there you see, you can move the headrest as well. Now the thing is, there is an ashtray which has been placed on this side, which has sort of a chrome on it, and then yeah, it is actually decent size, but I just say quit smoking, that would be better. Meanwhile, I can just open the sun blind like this. There's a sun blind at the rear, but there's a sort of a quarter glass here. And Dhanil is coming to photobomb. I don't know what's wrong with everyone today. They're just so excited with this car, looking at it. You know, I was actually waiting for half an hour in the front, waiting for people to go, because everyone is coming and just looking at the car. I'm like, okay, give me that opportunity to start the vlog before the sun becomes so bright that the whole interior will get whitewashed when I start the driving vlog, of course. Now, there's this chrome here. Let me open, and there is good amount of storage. In fact, there are 2 cup holders, and my lucky day becomes lucky because I get another. Oh, that's the coin I actually put. Faisal, you're so stupid. Okay, there's this on-off button, which is probably for the cooling function here, and there's a cigarette lighter. There has to be a cigarette lighter because they have an ashtray, so how will the person light a cigarette? Yeah, this is also decent in terms of size, but then this also opens, and then there is this notebook organizer, and this decent amount of storage space. There's a 12-volt charging socket here, and there's a USB whose position is something very weird and awkward. Regular USB, no USB-C in this car. This car is kind of old. Light placement here on the top. Okay, and there are a lot of controls. Now these are the controls for the sun blind. Okay, this is actually not needed. I mean, 2 buttons are not needed because when you press one button, both of the buttons get pressed. So this is to take the sun blind up, this to take the sun blind down. I'm just going to take the sun blind up for the moment, and there's a rear sun blind which actually is quite fast. It's fast paced sun blind, which obviously cuts down the sun. Okay, this is for seat ventilation, this is for seat heating, and there are two settings for the same, and it's there for both the sides. And these are the controls for the air conditioning. We'll just turn them on for a moment. Yeah, here I can increase the airflow and decide where I want the air to happen. I'm just going to shut this for the moment. So yeah, controls is very simple in Sky. It's so simple and easy that anybody can understand. And then, like I was telling you, there's good amount of knee room and leg room, but this thing does not move. In fact, there are twin cup holders here as well, and plenty of wood, so two people can sit in at the rear. But under thigh support is not really the best. It's okay, it's not that great. And headroom is like, yeah, it's actually decent when the seat is reclined. Of course, dashboard is a work of art. It looks so freaking beautiful. They have really done a fantastic job in the kind of colors they have used inside this vehicle. And the seats are super duper awesome as well. Let me just open this. Look at the door handle. It's finished in chrome. It's so amazing to use as well. Let's just put this up for a moment. Power window is kind of on the slower side, and this guy's got a slow airbag. I think must be 8 or 10 or 15 airbags. I'm just kidding. Nobody has 15 airbags, but still, you get my point. Just put the sunblind up so the car doesn't heat up. When I turn it off and go for a walk, and here we're just going to like not even bang it in, because it has the soft closed door function, which really does the job pretty nicely. Now let's get in here to the co-driver's side, because I need to put the seat behind. I put it all the way ahead. These are the controls actually for the seat adjustment. This is for lumbar, I believe. Now the glove box is decent sized, and there's this compartment on the top. It actually gets a cooling function here, so yeah, you can cool it as well. And it says Quattroporte right there. Let's just shut this very softly, very smoothly, and I think I've shut it in enough speed that it's actually gone inside all the way. It gets heated mirrors as well. I can't help but keep seeing the car from the outside because it's such a work of art. It looks absolutely stunning. What a beauty. Look at it. Mind blowing. Wow, I love Maserati's design language. So amazing. Anyways, the wipers are also kind of big and huge. You can see sort of dual blade treatment here. And I was talking about the cameras. They are the cameras, and you know what, right now I'm in China because this car has got a GPS tracker and camera, which you can see there. So everyone is tracking what I'm doing. Faisal, be nice today, which I'm not. Anyways, these are the controls for adjusting the driver's seat, and you can see the side bolstering is absolutely fantastic. Seats are super duper comfortable inside this car. There's a proper dead pedal there with the Maserati logo, but somehow I find the footwell to be a little bit too small. And these are like obviously sport pedals with Maserati on the brakes, but not on the accelerator. Maybe they can have a Ferrari logo right there. There is a step which has been added for God knows what, and this thing opens. There's some storage space, but there's a light inside which is kind of crazy. Attention to detail. Okay, it says Harman Kardon because that is the audio system in this car. 10 speaker unit. You can opt for a 15 speaker Bowers and Wilkins. So a lot of optional bits inside this car. In fact, you can get rear seat entertainment with 10-inch screens as well behind the front headrest. Like, yeah, okay. Anyways, nice chrome, nice wood. You can save up to 2 people's settings. Yeah, it has got memory seats, and these are the controls for the power window adjustment. Obviously, one touch up and down just to unlock the car, just to lock the car. And these are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. And yeah, I'm just going to put the window down for a moment because I want to show you how beautiful this frameless door looks. Look at that. That is so freaking awesome. A work of art. I know I'm going crazy over the design language because this is something very different from what the Germans do. So something exclusive and whatever. Okay, let's just shut this. This thing takes its own sweet time. You can see it's kind of double galvanized. It's like very thick, and there, soft closed door, pulls it in. That's the beauty. There's this place for putting the key also, and that reminds me, I've not shown you the key of the vehicle. So this is the key of the car, the Maserati logo right there, and it's like a thick key. Well, that's what she said. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, this is to open the boot of the vehicle. You have to press it twice, and this is to turn on the lights. So I think it has the follow me function or something of that sort. Now this is the button to start the engine of the vehicle. Now, these are the controls for the headlight leveler, I believe, and this is the control obviously for the lights. It gets automatic headlights. Of course, I'm just going to shut it for the moment. You can see the paddles are not connected to the steering wheel because when you move the steering wheel, the paddles do not move, and the paddle is actually quite big and nice and beautiful done. Now you can see buttons here. They're there on both the sides. The right one is for the volume, the left one is to go ahead or behind in a track, of course. And you can see the stitching as well, and there's this beautiful wood finishing. So crazy luxury and attention to detail. Let's get inside. First things first, I need to turn off the air conditioning because it's obviously going to make some noise. I'm going to turn off the indicator as well. You can see there is no lever on the right side because the left lever works both for the wiper as well as for the indicator. We're not going to use the wiper straight away because we'll do it when driving the car. I'm going to still take some pictures with this vehicle. Now there's this place here to keep your key. Okay, below the front center armrest, there isn't much storage space. I thought this was going to be deep. I was like going to remove this, and then I realized no, this does not open up. And there's another cigarette lighter here. So Maserati, please stop encouraging smoking because everywhere I go there is a cigarette lighter for sure. and beautiful wood finishing here. Okay, oh my god, another cigarette lighter. How many cigarette lighters can you have in this car? Maserati is like, yes, along with an ashtray, of course, cup holder. Let's shut this. In fact, there's no proper place to keep your phone, which is kind of disappointing. Meanwhile, this is a 10.1 inch screen, which is actually a Google Android based system. It gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity. It also gets voice commands, which we will use straight away, which means I press this button. Lower the fan speed.
I've set the fan speed to minimum.
How can she even do that when the air conditioning is only off? She should be like, no buddy, the air conditioning is off. I can't do any of that. But no, she still did that. So voice commands work well because obviously it's a Google Android based system. It's very easy to navigate here because like this is the home screen. Here's showing me in case if I have turned on the if the ventilation function is turned on or not. But yeah, very nice to browse as well. And I'll do one thing, I'll just go through every menu quickly. This is for the audio system. Let's do one thing, let's listen to an audio right away, which means there's a physical control for the audio system. Audio quality is actually quite nice, but it's not phenomenal. And then you can browse to the menu, which is actually slick. And now the screen is actually very nice and bright. And then I can get into the climate control function, of course, and then if I increase the temperature, it here shows me all that information as well. I'm just going to shut it for the moment. Okay, because this car actually belongs to the FCA group, which also owns Jeep. There has to be a compass inside. I mean, the logo is compass, but actually navigation, but it says compass right here, so I'll still laugh at my joke. And navigation is also very nicely done. Like, it's slick enough, it's fast enough, it's responsive too. And there you can see the device manager. Here you can get into the car functions. You can actually open or close the sunblind from here, turn on and off the start and stop system from here. You can turn on the rear view camera as well. The camera is actually decent and has got adaptive guidelines, but at this price I'm like, okay, where's the 360-degree camera, which should be standard, and here are all the settings for the same. So yeah, it's a very simple and easy system. But where do I go for the seat ventilation and heating? There you can see here, this is for ventilation, this is for steering heat, and this is for the heating function actually. Now if I go to the other side, I realize that the co-passenger is actually controlling the freaking heating of the steering wheel, which makes no freaking sense. You know why? Because they have not changed the screen for right hand drive markets. It's actually tuned for the left hand drive market, although I can get onto heated wheel from here in the settings, driver heat, driver vent, and all this is right there, which is kind of easy still. So yeah, it's actually a decent screen considering that the FCA group has made some really terrible ones. So I'm kind of going to be okay with that. As soon as I get into reverse, obviously the sunblind actually goes down first, and then the outside rear view mirrors also go downward. So I'm just going to do one thing, I'm just going to get into park, and as soon as I do that, you can see this goes up, and then the sunblind has also gone up. So here again, get into reverse, and there the sunblind goes down. So that's a very nice feature that it realizes that it needs to control all these aspects immediately. Now this is obviously for the volume control, and this is a very nicely done lever, and here I can actually browse through this system as well. Okay, yeah, 1 second. So yeah, it's actually very nice to use. So the lower one is to browse through to tune a radio, I mean the frequency of course, and this is for the volume control. This is the electric parking brake, and there are two buttons. This is for browsing and this is for mute, and there is nice chrome as well. Now there are 5-6 buttons. This is for the suspension mode, this is for sport mode, this is for eyes. Okay, eyes does not mean in-car entertainment, it means I'll talk about it when you're driving the car, of course. This is for the stop start system, and this is for the traction control button, and hazard light button is actually hidden right next to the gear lever, which has the Maserati logo here, and beautifully well done and amazingly stitched. Now these are the controls for the air conditioning, again very nicely done, and this is a USB. I mean there are two USB. There's a USB-C here. I was assuming they will not have a USB-C, but hey, Maserati actually shocked me. Now this is actually for this thing which is monitoring what I'm doing at the moment, and me being the, okay, there we see paparazzis. Me being the ass that I am, I'm just going to disconnect it for the moment. Take that, whatever monitor you are. Okay, because I want to close this and show it to you. Here this closes beautifully. Okay, why is it not closed? What is wrong? Oh, now it's closed. So that's also very nice unit. I'm just going to open it, and yeah, this is an ergonomic flaw here for sure, which means I have to push it. No. Okay, there's a wireless charging pad inside. Yeah, there's a wireless charging pad inside. But hey, quality of this car is actually good, because like everywhere there is soft touch material, because there's leather splashed almost everywhere. However, there's some cheap bits which come out from the FCA part bin, which could be better for a car of this price. Now there's an auto dimming mirror here. There's of course a mirror and a light here for the sun visor, which is kind of decent, and same is the case here as well. In fact, there is this sort of a strap. Meanwhile, you can see it also gets a handle on the driver's side, and like I told you earlier, seat belts get the height adjust function as well. Okay, now the steering wheel is a tad bit big for my liking. It's kind of on the bigger side, but you know, it has got a lot of chrome. These are the buttons for the cruise control. These are the buttons for the audio system, to browse through the audio system, and also to browse through that multi-information display, which you can see right there. Now, it's kind of a basic looking unit. It's not that fantastic because you get an analog speedometer on the left, which is marked till an optimistic 310 kilometers per hour. On the right, we've got a tachometer, of course, and telltale lights are everywhere. Now, I can browse through this because there are a lot of menus. Like, this is for vehicle information, of course. Here you get to see what is the distance the car has covered, how many days it has done it, battery voltage, and then it also has the gauges which tell you the oil temperature, the oil pressure, as well as the transmission temperature. And then there is a tire pressure monitor as well, okay, which is kind of like decent and easy to browse. Now, I'm telling you this car is all about simplicity. You can see with such simplicity I can browse through all this, although it's telling me it's giving a fuel efficiency of 3.6 kilometers per liter for a V6 engine. It's actually quite bad. Okay, this is the start and stop system, which I can turn on and off from here. Stored messages, nobody messages me. Vehicle settings, here I'm going to enter vehicle settings, and there are a slew of them. Like, I can decide speed warning, electric parking brake, passenger airbag, and stuff like that. And I can also do the screen setup. Meanwhile, here is the, okay, there's 6 actual menus right there, and this is obviously for the engine temperature, and that is for the fuel level, and it's telling me the mode which is in ICE right now. Okay, stop start system is turned off. What is the speed limiter? I put it at 260 kilometers per hour, and this is the gear position indicator. So yeah, this could be a little bit better, but it has this chrome surround for that premium appeal. Meanwhile, it has got this electric adjust for, you know, adjusting the steering wheel, which can be adjusted both for reach as well as rake. So I'm just going to put it to the highest position, and oh my god, it goes really high that I can't even see the bottom of the instrument cluster. And okay, it gets a sunroof, but disappointingly though, the sunroof is not a panoramic one. It's kind of on the smaller side. In order to shut this, only this thing will come back. I mean, the sunblind goes away, but it does not come back. You have to manually put it, although it comes out from going right inside. Yeah, it brings in some airy feeling inside the cabin, which is already finished in beige. There are lights on the top here. The button for the same you can see right there. Meanwhile, this is actually to open the boot of the vehicle, which is placed in a weird place. And there's a Maserati clock here as well, which is kind of cool and nice. So yes, as I see it, car kind of feels dated in certain aspects. It could have slightly more features for sure. And the problem is that it's competing with cars which are so accomplished that you expect a lot more. But yes, it feels very exclusive. Just look at the dashboard design of this car. It's absolutely stunning. There's no denying that fact. Okay, as I was telling you, there's not much space. Like, you know, I expected slightly more space on the left side, so I can put my left foot there. Meanwhile, let's do one thing. Let's actually turn off the car, which makes me actually search where's the engine start button. There it is. You just shut it off, and as soon as I do it, the seat actually goes behind. It says Maserati right there. And where is the key of the car? Did I keep it here? Yes, I did. I'm just going to do one thing. I'm just going to lock the car for the moment while being inside, and there obviously the mirrors go inside. All that cool functions are obviously expected, right? Now I've unlocked the car, and as soon as I open the door, yeah, it says lights on as such. So we're just going to, why is the light on? Is it okay? You need to put it on auto, otherwise it's going to say the same thing. Let's turn on the car now and let's see if it does something different. It says Quattroporte right there. It does a full swipe up as well, and then it gives me a warning after showing me the Maserati logo that, you know, be careful, you're driving an Italian exotic car which is very expensive. Okay, you guys are looking at me, but I've disconnected you. Jokes aside, let's turn off the car. Okay, and we're going to get outside because we need to see if it has this function. So first things first, I'm going to lock the car, and here it is locked. Okay, now I'm going to try to open all the windows using the key, of course, and let's see if that happens or not. Yeah, button is pressed. Waiting. Yeah, there, all the windows roll down, which is a basic feature. Polo also had it, but the sunroof does not open, which is kind of a bummer. Let's just shut this, and I think it's high time we start driving this amazingly beautiful looking Italian beast of a sedan, the Maserati Quattroporte GranLusso. अरे बंद हो जाना window, क्यों नहीं हो रही बंद? चलो, let's start driving right away. Right, we're all set to go, which means first and foremost you have to turn off the air conditioning of the car. Air conditioning completely off. You press it twice and it actually turns on as well. We get into drive mode, we get into manual mode, we get sport for the, drive mode, of course, and left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, revving the motor, revs till 2000 RPM, and off we go. It will not make enough shift in manual mode unless and until I decide to do so. This engine is absolutely unbelievable. It's a 3-liter V6 motor which gets twin turbos, and it is actually designed and assembled by Ferrari. The reason why I'm saying it's assembled by Ferrari is because this engine is manufactured by FCA and then they send the parts to Ferrari to assemble it. Kind of weird, but Ferrari could have done all of it, but they are too busy to do all that and more. Anyways, performance is unbelievably good because even if you opt for a lesser engine, this is the least powerful engine in the Quattroporte range because I think there are 4 engine options. There are 2 petrol engines with the V6. Okay, there's another more powerful version of this car, and there's a V8, and then there's a diesel as well, which is a V6 unit. Now, there is grunt throughout the revving. There's that initial lag, the turbo lag is there, but in the mid-range, it's absolutely stunning the way it pulls, and it's an engine which sounds very nice as well. So you get on the throttle, red lines around 6,500 RPM, which is a bit too soon for something which has Ferrari associated with it. This engine produces 350 horsepower and the torque output is impressive 500 Newton meters. It's impressive because it comes in at a low 1750 RPM and stays there till almost 4500 RPM. Okay, I have to be very careful when you go over a speed breaker now. You have to be like really very careful because it cannot lift its nose. There's no air suspension here. So the result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in an impressive 5.5 seconds. I say impressive because this is a heavy car. It weighs 2.1 tons. Although Maserati says it's used aluminium in a lot of places, including the doors and the hood and everywhere. But still, it's still a very heavy car as such. So it will do a top speed of 270 kilometers per hour. Again, let me tell you the numbers. 3-litre V6 twin turbo produces 350 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.5 seconds. The reason I'm saying that again is because there's a more powerful version of this engine which produces 430 horsepower, 80 more horsepower and 80 more Newton meters of torque, so 580 Newton meters of torque, cutting the 0 to 100 km per hour timing by half a second and increasing the top speed by 18 kilometers per hour. That does a top speed of 288 kilometers per hour. And then let's not even talk about the V8 because that's in another league. That's a 3.8 litre V8. You guessed it right, that's the same engine which powers the 488 as well as the Portofino, the Ferrari engine. Absolute maddening. In fact, it has got an overboost function as well. For a certain time, it will give you more torque when you get hard on the throttle. But today, since you're driving the lesser engine, let's just talk about this. It's a beautiful engine. You don't feel that you need a V8 at all because the punch, okay, this thing keeps ringing, so we're just going to disconnect it. And even after disconnecting, it still keeps ringing. That's kind of weird. I think it has its own power. So that rings, I think, as soon as you touch 100 kilometers per hour or something of that sort. The horn doesn't sound good on the inside, but I think it is decent on the outside because obviously it's very mellowed inside and then insulation is fantastic. And onto the throttle, the gearbox, okay, you can see the car goes right, left and center because this is rear wheel drive. Maserati did not take the trouble of making all wheel drive for the right hand drive markets, although you can get this particular engine model with all wheel drive but only globally. And their all wheel drive system is also very advanced. It's able to judge on individual wheels if there's loss of traction and accordingly channel power, but I don't think it's going to be in the same league of the Quattro system from Audi because that's just the benchmark in terms of four wheel drive systems. So yeah, performance is nice and smooth, and then you can use the steering mounted paddle. Now this is an 8-speed ZF sourced automatic gearbox, a torque converter unit. It's smooth with shifts. It's not the most urgent, but yeah, it gets the job done. And then you can hear the tire noise all the time because the car is set up on the stiffer side. It's a very stiff car, so ride quality is not the best, but handling is unbelievably good. It's so good. I mean, I can go endless praises on the handling of this car, but this thing feels cheap, like dummy buttons, like really at this price point. And then because of the stiff suspension, you can feel almost everything, but although it has this feel of kind of wafting along because the suspension is so well calibrated, because it obviously gets adaptive dampers which are able to judge the speed of the car and the driving style and the road conditions and accordingly vary the damper settings. And they actually call it skyhook suspension. Well, that's the same as what Ducati calls it. So yeah, Maserati has taken a leaf or two out of Ducati's book. It doesn't hesitate to downshift, and then it's very aggressive with the shift and then pulls really strongly. It's a fast driving motor in that sense. What a beautiful engine. And the brakes are also very strong indeed. Just like look at the stopping power. It's very sure-footed, there's no drama, but downshifts so aggressively. So let's just get into the map view because that's the only display I have here to see. And revving the motor, slightly above 2000 RPM. Okay, it's burning the rear wheel, so it kind of does a drift in that sense. And if you turn off traction control, car is going to go absolute bonkers. So you can't really turn off traction control because when you do that, that's murder mode in this car, because this car is very simple. Okay, there's no gearbox mode, there is no drift mode, none of that. It's just simple. You turn off traction control, you kill yourself, period. There's no two ways about it. In the V6 model, in the V8 model, I don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to probably go full throttle, spin and reach Africa in no time at all. That is the kind of craziness. Now it has got ADAS function. This particular car doesn't have it, but you know, it has got lane keep assist, it's got forward collision warning, it has got automatic emergency braking, it's got blind spot monitor, blind assist, blind spot information, you name it. It has almost everything and more. It has got something known as highway assist, which is basically what Volvo calls it as pilot assist. It is a combination of the adaptive cruise control as well as the lane keep assist, which work in conjunction to give it autonomous driving function, which is level 2 ADAS, which is okay. I mean, that's kind of nice, but a lot of car makers are also offering it. You can hear the tire noise continuously, so ride is not comfortable. Handling is absolutely unbelievable because the steering is pinpoint accurate. It's very smooth, it's very nice. It's kind of not very heavy, but still it feels accurate enough, and it's not really a point and shoot in that sense because of the heavy weight of this car. It weighs quite a bit as such, and the length and all that you have to consider, but it kind of drives very sporty, and this is something which makes this Maserati an absolute unbelievable joy for a luxury sedan. I think a limousine of this size or of this segment, by far the best in terms of driving ability. That's how good it is. High-speed manners are absolutely great as well. Steering is very, like I told you, steering is good. Body roll is very well contained. So it's a very nice car to drive, and in terms of driving feel, now Maserati, very difficult to beat in the segment. It's just unbelievable. It's no AMG in that regard. It doesn't have to be because it's just so freaking amazing, and I love how the brakes are so nice and the gearbox is so aggressive. And off we go. There's that initial lag, the turbo lag is there, but then once it kicks into the mid-range, it absolutely pulls strongly. Here we are going to get into manual mode, and I'm just going to downshift. We are going to come into second. 6,500 RPM is where it redlines, but the upshifts are taking a bit of a time, so that's kind of surprising. It gives a downshift fast, but it's not very fast with upshifts. That's something which I've not really noticed in other cars. Now, there are multiple drive modes, like we are in sport mode right now. There's another mode called ICE, okay, which stands for increased comfort and efficiency. You can call it a comfort and efficiency mode fused together, which actually makes the engine go on a vacation completely because throttle response dulls dramatically, but it kind of feels more comfortable because the ride improves and the steering doesn't feel as hefty as such. But you know, that's not the mode we are going to drive in. We're going to get into sport mode, and then obviously I can decide if I want to get the suspension into sport, and when I do that, there's a world of a difference in terms of the way this car is able to handle and the way it's able to just give you that stiffness and that feedback as well. Something which, I mean, between drive modes, this is a big difference. Like, that's not something which you really notice, but here it's a tremendous difference in the way the drive mode is able to alter so many things. Now, this gets a 80-liter fuel tank, and the fuel efficiency will be around 3 to 7 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style. So it is a gas guzzler for a V6 engine. Just imagine what will the V8 do, because that has 580 horsepower. Okay, they have the GTS and the Trofeo, which like kind of the flagship models, which have a top speed of almost 320 kilometers per hour. That's like super duper fast. Yeah, this thing keeps beeping all the time. It actually is able to detect that if the car is being robbed and give a signal back. So like, are we in hot pursuit right now? Probably we are. So Maserati won't tell me the price of this car, but I can make a rough estimate. It should be around 2 crore rupees, which is kind of on the expensive side. But then this is a CBU, and then, you know, it doesn't have the full network setting like what Mercedes, Audi and BMW have, so obviously it's going to come at a premium, but you get absolute next level of exclusivity with this car. It's unbelievable how exclusive and hatke this car is, because nothing even comes close to the exclusivity of a Maserati on Indian roads, on Indian roads, because there are very few. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, has a light off, and off we go. Some of the shifts are actually faster when you're driving it in regular drive mode and you don't put the gearbox in manual, and I don't think there's a sport mode for the gearbox, so they've kept everything very simple, not too complex anything. In fact, when you open the door also, there's this sort of a reflector on the door, which is kind of something weird. I would not expect that to happen, because the level of attention detail from Maserati is kind of funny, because I would not expect the Italians to be like, we need to do this. And talking about this, well, all-wheel drive isn't great is what I've heard, because it kind of kills the fun, and it's only okay if you're driving in maybe snowy conditions and all, but for the most part, all-wheel drive isn't like a good option in this car. But it's good to have rear-wheel drive. Okay, it has that suspense that, oh, will I make it? Will I kill myself? Because there's just so much power and torque going to the rear wheel. It's able to channel everything pretty nicely as well, but still you just have that in your mind all the time. And then, you know, this car shares a lot of its parts with the Ghibli. In fact, the engine, the drivetrain, the suspension, the chassis, the doors, the front doors that is, and the hood, and a lot of, not the hood actually, but a lot of things are actually shared with the Ghibli. So that's part sharing Pro Max by Maserati. And then you can see it corners really nicely because it's got 50-50 weight distribution. That's amazing how they managed to do 50-50 weight distribution distribution in a car which is longer than maybe, I don't know, the Titanic. That's why parking can be a bit of a pain in your rear. However, you have to be really careful when driving this car, because since Maserati doesn't have so many dealerships in India, in case things go wrong, in case you do a nip and tuck here, which is bang someone or someone bangs you, it's going to take some time for the parts to arrive and the car to get back into proper shape. So that's something which you have to definitely consider before buying a Maserati in India. And like I was telling you, the price is on the higher side, but then you get absolute crazy exclusivity with this car, which is kind of unparalleled. Look at that. That's the Toyota Wellfire. That's also huge, very difficult to drive. This car's brakes are actually very nice. Feedback is amazing. You know, it's got Brembo dual cast brakes, which ensures stopping power is absolutely supreme. Please stop, dude. Please stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Stop, stop, stop. This guy is going to stop or not? He's going to. But you know, it's so cumbersome to take a U-turn because, yeah, the car is like so long. And onto the throttle. In fact, that turbo lag saves it from spinning the rear very aggressively. Now, the first Quattroporte was launched way back in 1963, and in 2013, this 6th generation model was launched, which has been given multiple updates. I think there was one in 2015, there was one in 2020, 21 or something of that sort. So yeah, but still, it's been on sale for 9 years now, which is a lot of time, and the next generation model is due anytime soon, which means that should you buy one right now? Well, if you're looking for a Maserati which has that soul and is not electrified yet, this is definitely going to please you. And plus, this car has the award for the most depreciating car in the world. Yes, that's right, the Quattroporte depreciates like nothing else. Nobody even comes close. Once you buy it, the level of depreciation is absolutely maddening. This is not my statistic, I didn't make it up, this is the fact. Go and Google it, you will come to know that the Quattroporte is a depreciating monster. And on that bombshell, or rather disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I know many of you are like, ye bolta hai aise jaise mutual fund are subject to market risk, read offer document carefully before investing. But yeah, I am the mutual fund guy. I love this car, I really love this car, and I love it for the character, for the madness, for things not being perfect here. Okay, there are flaws, but you love the flaws because it's not all about perfection, it's about character, emotion and a soul, which this car has in plenty. So we're going to stop and launch it again. Although the vlog is over, you guys can just shut it, hit that like button, subscribe and all that if you want to do. Well, that's up to you. Look at the aggressive shifts. I'm going to shut up and listen to it now. Here we go. Bye-bye.